Hey there, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time for your monthly astrological forecast for March 2022. And just a quick heads up, remember, at the end of every month, I do put out monthly tarot forecasts as well, so stay tuned. The last week of every month is when they show up. If you are a YouTube member supporter or a Patreon supporter, you also have your weekly tarot forecasts that come out every Saturday, so keep an eye out for those. And if you ever want to get a session with me, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, engagement helps this channel out a lot. And for more information about all the stuff I just said, just open up the down bar below. So what's going on when it comes to your month? Well, we all start off with this beautiful new moon in Pisces on the 2nd, which happens to fall in your 7th house of closest one-on-one involvements. So that's your boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, husband, wife, roommate, all the people you have your closest one-on-one connections and entanglements with. And that's a mouthful to say, and this is going to come up a lot, so I'll just refer back to this every once in a while. The new moon is opening up a 2-week window between the 2nd and the 17th of the month for a lot of you Virgo people to get established in some kind of very important new one-on-one commitment. For some of you, yes, on the romantic front, this could be going into a space where we are becoming official with somebody that we have been seeing recently. We may be codifying a new chapter in a relationship. Those of you who are already involved may be taking things to the next level, as it were, by actually commemorating it with some kind of big exchange or big transition. It may be time to consider taking things to a new step with this new moon. But this can also apply to the non-romantic close one-on-one connections you have as well, especially when it comes to pulling in very powerful and very helpful alliances when it comes to business or your education, or maybe even creating a completely new support system out of your nearest and dearest. A new moon could also be attracting a new BFF, or possibly somebody who could be coming in to become a new business partner or a new alliance for you that's going to actually be quite strong and quite lucrative, an alliance to have. Either way, the first half of this month, it's all about Virgo people getting much more involved with other people, as well as codifying those commitments, right? Creating a strong new covenant. We also have Venus and Mars walking hand in hand into Aquarius on the 6th. Now, Aquarius is actually your 6th house of work, your reputation, your schedule, your lifestyle, and your health. And Venus and Mars will both be here together through the duration of March, as well as going into April. Venus, the planet of love, popularity, favor, and affection, is actually broadcasting your good name this month. And you're going to be finding that you are kind of going through a 15 minutes of fame moment. It doesn't have to be 15 minutes long, but you are becoming very well known around the office, around your field, especially when it comes to also, the greater community, your client and customer base. And there could be a feeling of getting discovered, whether it's getting discovered for something you've always done, or maybe something new that you are embarking upon that makes a really big splash. Venus in the 6th house is also going to be bringing you in new business that is willing to invest more in you, whether this is your private enterprise, self-employment venture, or maybe you are getting bigger investments from your company, from your boss, from your employers, or from any kind of establishments that you are affiliated with as it relates to your field, because your stock is rising. Venus in the 6th house can also be a great time for those of you that are thinking about gussying things up in order to be able to have a stronger, more influential presence. Some of you may even want to consider raising your prices because people will be willing to pay. Mars here is also going to be helping you get a competitive edge when it comes to your work life as the planet of action, passion, energy, that obstacle clearing driving force is helping you to knock down a few walls and a few containers that maybe you have been stuck in. If you've been feeling obscured, if you've been feeling like you're not getting noticed, or maybe you've been in a situation where you've been a bit passed over here and there. this is going to be the month where we make up for a lot of lost time. Mars in the 6th house, however, I do want to caution you, Virgo people, please make sure that if it does come time to compete, you know how to compete sportingly. That is because Mars in the 6th house is going to put you in a situation where, we are getting more socially active, we are getting more well-known, and there may be times where we have to compete, we have to be willing to self-advocate, but we don't want to make it personal, we don't want to get obsessed with it, and we also don't want to shy away from it. When it comes to the realm of physical health, I'm not a doctor, and run away from every astrologer who thinks they are. Make sure that you understand that Mars and Venus together really doing a good number on helping you to transform your body however you want your body to transform. Just be careful with Mars. It's easy to go a little over the top, and we don't want to go so hard that we have to, work hard on dialing back a month and a half from now. We also have Mercury entering Pisces on the 9th. That 7th house of partnerships and close one-on-one connections. And Mercury is bringing the energy of communications, haste, and productivity here. And Mercury will be in this part of your chart from the 9th of the month through the 28th of the month. When Mercury is in our 7th house, we are speeding up the rate of development here, especially when it comes to joint projects, joint goals, joint aspirations that we have with a romantic partner or with a business partner or in an alliance or some kind of collaborative that has maybe taken a long time to mature for whatever reason. Maybe there's a lot of distractions, maybe you've not been able to really put your nose to the grind because you had too much going on, or we were waiting for the money to be there, we were waiting for the time to be there, we were waiting for the inspiration to be there. Maybe a romantic partner or a collaborator or a business partner had some stuff going on their end of things, and it's just been taking too long to get off the ground. Well, with Mercury in this part of your chart, the 9th through the 28th, we are once again making up for lost time. In fact, with Mercury in the 7th house, this is also going to be opening up new lines of communication that are going to support these joint projects, support these joint ventures, and actually bring them about in a way that is not only going to be much more quick and efficient, but maybe even something of higher value than we had estimated we could create at this point in time. We also have the Sun in this area, the closest one-on-one connections sector, at least through the 20th of March. And with the Sun in your 7th house, this is where we're seeing a lot of attention, enhancement, and support come in to create ways to become much more close with these people. With the Sun in the 7th house, this is about bringing in more levity, bringing in more play, bringing in more sweetness, more emotional exchanges, but also creating new facets of these relationships in order to make them stronger, more multidimensional, and more fulfilling for all involved. The Sun is also attracting strong new friendships and strong new alliances to you as well, so that we are actually able to have a really, really close team, a really, really close sense of fellowship that is much stronger than maybe a bunch of casual acquaintanceships. A lot of you may be finding that with the Sun in Pisces as well, there's an opportunity to do some serious healing and recovery work with old alliances as well as old friendships, if you are open to that. The nice thing about the Sun here as well is that we're also getting a chance to finally indulge in some maybe fantasies or maybe even some play, some recreational activities that are really, really good for morale in all of our doings, right? So it's not all just work, bringing in that levity and that lightness, right? That keeps everything fresh and comfortable. Very, very strong energy for the first 3 weeks of the month. After the 20th, the Sun moves on into Aries, the 8th house, for you anyway, of shared resources, passive income, as well as intimacy, eroticism, and self-employment earnings and anything outside of a salary or hourly income. It's one of those houses that, doesn't really know what it wants to be. And then after the 28th, Mercury moves into this area as well. And this is sort of the theme of the end of March and a great deal of April. With the sun in the 8th house, you're going to be noticing that a lot of inhibitions, as well as a lot of maybe challenges to being able to fully get deep and close with people, whether it's existing romantic partners or maybe new people, if you're looking for somebody new, are going away, because the sun bringing in that lightness, that play, that levity, bringing in a bit more joy, a bit more adventurousness, and a bit more openness is going to be not only attracting that experience to you, but also bringing that attitude to the people you're having these experiences with. So it can actually have this very interesting mix of this sweet and this wholesome, but, focus, but also at the same time, very sensually and erotically satisfying. And so there's a new depth being achieved in a lot of your interpersonal relationships there. We also have this working hard on the business front when Mercury gets in there, because we're also seeing a lot of the money that you are making outside of a regular salary or hourly income is on the rise, and it's coming in a lot more quickly. It could get pretty hectic, as we talked about before, because this is going to require you to be a lot more involved. This is not for people who are hands off when it comes to their work. You better love your work, because with Mercury here, you're going to need to be ready to take on a lot of really interesting new projects that are going to be paying out in small amounts that start to add up really, really quickly by the time we get to the end of April. And we're also speeding up the growth of maybe a small personal project or personal enterprise into something much, much bigger. Finally, for our last aspect to talk about, we've got a full moon in your sign, a full moon on the 18th. So this is setting up another 2-week window covering the 18th through the end of March. When we have a full moon in our sign, it's all about, of course, culminations and transitions, but this is a focus on clearing. It's our once a year clearing, pure liberation, detachment moon. With a full moon in your sign, it's time to pay attention the second half of this month. What is it you would like to release that you don't want to take any energy for or give any energy to anymore? What is it you would like a clean break from? Is it something that you are looking to quit, like a habit? Is it maybe a move you're looking to make? You want to just ship off somewhere? Is there a story you no longer want to keep playing out? Is there maybe a social connection or a pattern going on in a family situation you'd like to leave behind? Maybe you're thinking about leaving a work situation or a job. Maybe you're thinking about just packing up and quitting and starting with all of this good new stuff in a much more harmonious environment or atmosphere. A full moon can also detach you from any kind of cords or ties or obligations that bind you to a phase you are no longer in. Pay attention, it is in your sign, so you are going to want to make sure that you are ready to do the work, but this full moon is about to clean your plate if you do the work with it. So that is what I've got for you, Virgo. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session with me, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.